Okay, y'all, we are trying to figure out how do you know when it's time for you to come home based on Blake Shelton's mama's books and Blake Shelton himself. Okay, the first one, it was called Time for Me to Come Home for Christmas, and that was premiered in 2018. All right, this one stars Josh Henderson and Megan Park. Baby, you know it's time to come home when you on a road trip with a famous country singer and you falling in love with him, okay? As he's doing his old country thing. And baby, Josh ends up singing Time for Me to Come Home for Christmas, which I didn't know was a Blake Shelton song because I already told you Megan and I only get down with crossover Shania Twain and Faith Hill. But baby, you know it's time for you to come home if you run into some sexy country singer and you start to fall in love on the plane, the bus, the drive back to Tulsa, baby, with him. Then you know it's time to come home. Okay, the second time to come home is Time for You to Come Home, starring Allison Sweeney and Lucas Bryant. Okay, you will know it's time to come home if your husband just passed, like maybe 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago. You've been up in Boston with your son and you haven't been back to your hometown where you fell in love with him. Boom, you finally decide to take the daggone Amtrak or some sort of train and head back home. When you head back home on the train, you and your son meet some sexy veteran. Y'all become friends. You start seeing this vet all over the place. And then y'all fall in love. You find out the vet actually saved, your husband actually saved the vet's life when they were on tour. And now this is your new husband and your new family. That's when you know it's time to come home. That was the second one. Okay, and that was in 2019. Baby, it's time to come home if your mama just passed. You trying to wrap up her law cases as a lawyer. And then you mysteriously get invited to this inn with 4 other strangers, okay? And one of them was that sexy fine actor Lionel. And no, Leon, excuse me. Leon, I'm so sorry. And then you realize that all these people are interconnected. And it turns out your folks and their folks were all of this in the first Christmas it ever had. That's when you know it's time to come home. This is time for us to come home for Christmas. And that was in 2020. And that's the third one in the franchise. Okay, Time for Them to Come Home for Christmas is the fourth one in the franchise, and it's from 2021. Okay, you know it's time to come home when you end up getting into a fight with your sister, you end up getting into an accident, get hit by a car, and then you fall into some ravine, you lose your memory, you now have retrograde amnesia, and your doctor is now taking care of you as y'all do a road trip back to a town that we think you're from. That's when you know it's time to come home.